The Esdras Records, Episode 2, The Missing Debate. Welcome back to The Scribe. In our last session, we proved that the Edomite framework relies on isolation and identity wipes. They separate the prophets, and they change the names of the enemies to hide the ongoing continuous shadow war. Today, we are shifting from the physical timeline to the actual text. We are doing what the sanitized church system forbids you from doing. We are putting the 66-book Book of Summaries under the microscope. Right next to the unsealed records of the Apocrypha. We are going to show you exactly what the Roman scribes deleted, and more importantly, why they deleted it. Open your standard Western Bible to the Book of Ezra, Chapter 1. If you read it, it feels like a dry, boring history book. It says, King Cyrus of Persia made a decree to let the Jews go back to Jerusalem to rebuild the temple. And then, a few chapters later, they are just doing it. It reads like a simple administrative handover. The king signs a paper, and the people go to work. But it feels empty. It feels like there is a massive gap in the story. And there is. Now, open the complete Ethiopian canon. Turn to the first book of Esdras. When you read first Esdras, you get the exact same history. But suddenly, the veil is ripped off. You find chapters 3 and 4. A massive high-stakes intellectual and spiritual battle right in the middle of the Persian King's court. An event the 66-book system completely erased. It is known as the debate of the Three Guardsmen. King Darius is holding a massive feast for all his princes, his governors, and his captains. And while the king sleeps, 3 of his personal bodyguards decide to hold a contest. They agree that each of them will write down one sentence declaring what they believe is the strongest force in the world. Whoever writes the wisest answer will be given purple robes, gold chains, and a seat next to the king himself. The first guardsman writes, "Wine is the strongest, because it can alter the minds of kings and orphans alike." The second guardsman writes, "The king is the strongest, because men will march to war, kill, and die simply because the king commands it." But the third guardsman is an Israelite. He is a man named Zerubbabel. And Zerubbabel is not just any Israelite. He is of the royal lineage of David. He is a direct bloodline ancestor of the Messiah. Zerubbabel writes his answer. He says, "Women are strong, but above all things, truth bears away the victory." The king wakes up. He gathers the massive pagan court, and he forces the guardsmen to defend their answers publicly. The first 2 make their cases for wine and the absolute power of the king. Then Zerubbabel steps up to the podium, and right in the face of the most powerful, tyrannical, earthly empire of the age, an Israelite delivers a fatal blow to the illusion of human authority. He acknowledges the power of earthly kings, but then he pivots. He declares that all men are wicked, all kings are wicked. The earth itself is unrighteous. Listen to the unsealed record of 1 Esdras 4:38. Zerubbabel declares, "As for the truth, it endureth and is always strong. It liveth and conquereth for evermore. She is the strength, kingdom, power, and majesty of all ages. Blessed be the God of truth." The entire pagan court erupts. They cannot deny it. They shout, "Great is truth, and mighty above all things." Because of this specific speech, because this Israelite publicly humiliated the concept of absolute earthly power, the king grants Zerubbabel whatever he wants. And what does he ask for? He asks the king to keep his vow to rebuild Jerusalem. Why did the Western scribes delete this? Why did the Edomite framework completely remove 1 Esdras from your Bible? Because they cannot allow you to see an Israelite spiritually and intellectually dominating a pagan empire. The 66-book Bible wants you to believe the earthly king just handed over the keys out of the goodness of his heart. They want you to believe the empire is always in control, but the unsealed record proves otherwise. The funding to rebuild Jerusalem wasn't a bureaucratic handout. It was won in a war of words. It was won because an ancestor of the Messiah stood in the belly of the beast and declared that the earthly king is nothing and the truth of the Most High is everything. They deleted the victory to protect the empire. We are putting the victory back on the record. The scales are removed. Now that you see how heavily they manipulated the historical events of Ezra, you are finally ready to see the terrifying end times prophecies they tried to hide in 2nd Esdras.